Hi, everybody. It's Dawn Whitaker, and thank you for another episode of Dreams Unveiled. Today, you're going to meet a very dear friend of mine, Jill, and I'm so happy to have her because I haven't seen her for a while. So, we actually have been catching up a little bit before you're going to watch this video. But she is going to share her dream with us, and we're going to take a look at it, and I hope it benefits you. Thank you so much, Jill, for joining me today.
Well, I'm so happy to be here, and it's so nice to see you, even if it's over a Zoom call.
I know, but it is. It's really nice to see you. And you had a great vacation?
Oh wow, yeah, unbelievable. I'm so blessed. I'm so blessed.
Well, we'll have to have lunch and you can tell me all about it.
Okay, I will.
All right. Can you share your dream with us?
Well, I've been having a recurring dream, whereas I'm passing out, and everybody just walks by me and says, "You're okay. You'll be okay." As I'm laying there breathing for air. And they just walk by me and say, "You'll be okay." And it's like, then as I'm taking my last breath, I wake up.
Okay. So, and you feel like it is your last breath.
Yes, I wake up like it's like when you're sleeping and if you snore or whatever and you wake yourself up, that sort of shocking, it just shocks in
It
your.
jolts you into awakeness.
Yes. But it's just funny that I keep having this and I don't know why.
Well, I think this will be your first step into knowing why. One of the things I really want to encourage, and I realize we tried to get together before your vacation and that didn't work out so well, but and this is the first time we're really discussing this dream, is that what is going on around the time of the dream. But I think the thing you're really going to want to focus on is the relationships in your life and how they're functioning around the time that you have that dream. What is going on? Because this is really a people, a relational kind of a dream, for one thing, because of the responses of the people. But the other thing that I think is very interesting about this is it's reoccurring, number one, and it clearly is all happening in your own mind. So this is concerns that you have, I think, of people being very dismissive or where you feel something is urgent or an important matter or relevant, and people are just dismissing you. So that's what that sounds like to me.
I never thought of it that way. I can't think of anything in particular that would initiate this dream right at this moment. But if I have it again, I might be able to go back and say, "Oh, this is what initiated my dream."
Because it's things you can work out, right?
Yeah.
It may be just things that you need to, that may be happening. Let's just pretend, okay? But let's pretend somebody said something to you and you didn't think anything of it at the time, but but you processed it maybe a little later and you're like, I wonder, I hope she didn't mean that or whatever, and it just goes away. It's not a big deal.
That we all, later on do think, "Oh, God, I hope they didn't mean it that way," because you don't, and especially when you're texting or things like that. The texting I can't stand because you can't hear it in your voice, so it could be that too.
You're right. So, and to think about it, we're talking about feelings here, right? We're talking about feelings. You are laying on the ground. You can't breathe. You are clearly in distress.
Yes, very much so.
And people are literally walking right by you. You shake it off. You're going to be okay. Everything will be fine, right? And
Here's
so,
people I know too that are in my dreams. It's not just strangers.
right. Which is why I think that this is very relational. I think sometimes if we feel that we're either put off or not regarded or dismissed. Maybe somebody looked at something that we were involved with and didn't think we knew what we were talking about or thought they knew more, anything like that. What this seems to elicit in you is really feeling uh, like that you're not important.
Like an inadequacy, is that what you're saying?
Well, I think it's more like an insecurity.
Insecurity, okay.
Yeah, that you are not aware, or you're not having understanding of um, that you don't need to worry. People telling you you don't need to worry. You don't, like they're being kind of presumptuous, maybe. So think about this. Because we first of all, when you first told me about the dream, in the dream you shared that in the dream you had a stroke.
Yes.
So
Like,
go ahead.
yeah, it's like I'm laying there, stroking out and not able to breathe and very, very asking for help, but nobody, you'll be okay.
Right. So here are some of the things that could that could be. You feel like you have a loss of control. Obviously, let's talk about the idea of stroke. Now, the dream may not look like a stroke to everybody, but when you were having it, you in the dream, you recognized it as a stroke. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And that's really what's important. So you recognized it as a stroke in the dream. And so let's look at some of the things that could actually look like or that could mean. Um, so feeling powerless or frustrated, that could easily, especially feeling powerless, right? Think about if you are having a stroke, you are not in control. You're
Correct.
just not in control. You're very dependent on people helping you,
Yes.
and
Much so.
no one's helping.
No.
In fact, they're telling you that you really don't need help.
Correct. Yeah.
They're looking at you as you don't need help. You know, some of that may be, I mean, you're a very strong woman. You found your way around to everything. I mean, really, you have some attributes. You're very independent, take care of things. It's sometimes when we are like that, people, especially people that may depend on us, have a hard time with the person that they depend on needing help and support in that way. So that may be some of the waking things why this dream may be a representation of this kind of powerlessness.
That makes perfect sense, if you look back, but at the time it doesn't make any
Does
sense.
not make sense. Well, and next time you have the dream, you're really going to be paying attention to what's going on. And you can call me too and say, all right, I just had one of those dreams. And we can literally scour through like the couple of weeks before that. Because the great things about reoccurring dreams is that once there's solution or resolution or those feelings can be dealt with properly and put in order, the dream actually will be less frequent or stop happening.
It makes sense. It does. Right now, in the last, I'd say, week, I've been so busy doing other things, and I'm so tired that I think I haven't had that dream because of me being so tired and thinking about other things I have to do in order to start the spring, start the summer, start my life afresh. And I was on vacation. I did have it a couple times when I was on vacation, although I'm not intimidated by going traveling by myself. Not at all. I travel by myself all the time. I've been to all 50 states and most of them by myself. So that makes perfect sense that probably something had irritated me or had triggered this dream previous to me having the dream.
I,
So that's something I can look back at.
I feel like what is triggering the dream is this sense that people think you're not capable or not able to make decisions or not, I think it really is that loss of control is that you have this feeling. It may not even be legitimate, right? These could come from core beliefs in us from old stuff. But but something makes you feel like you're being dismissed because you're wrong and they're right, kind of. That's the sense I get about the dream. I mean, you're sharing that people are literally walking over. You'll be all right, get up.
Get over it. Get over it.
So, so what do you think about with something like that? Is that people think you're crying wolf, or you're asking for things that you don't need, you're seeking help that you don't need, uh, and people are making that judgment on you. You don't really need help, you just want attention, kind of, you know what I'm saying? That kind of thing.
But anybody that knows me knows I don't ask for help. I never do. I if it has to be really, really, really hard, or I would not ask for help at all. I'll do it myself.
Well, and that's what's so interesting about the dream. I actually even know that about you, but here's the thing. This dream is not about what people know about you. It's about how you feel.
Okay.
It's all about how some situations or circumstances or interactions make you feel. Where you and I think because you are so independent and you don't ask for help means when you do, and if somebody were, and I know this isn't really happening, in your life, but if you are asking for help and if somebody is like, you don't really need help. I mean, you could do this. What do you don't need help, that kind of thing. It would really bother you because you don't ever ask for help. You know what I'm
Most I'm the one offering help,
so so
volunteering and offering help to help other people.
so I suspect this is something very old when you feel that way, okay? But current situations may make you believe stuff. It's not the people around you necessarily doing or saying anything. It's something that's triggering the feelings in you that people may think that or may feel that.
That makes perfect sense. Because,
So,
yeah, think back about different things and things that have happened. I've felt that way. And I can't pinpoint anything in particular, any of the dreams I've had lately, because I haven't looked at it that way. I haven't woke up and thought, what happened to me today or yesterday or the day before that would trigger this dream? But now that I have talked to you, I can see that I'm going to have to think about what has happened to me and what how I have perceived. It's not always happened. It's perception by the other person.
mhm. Yeah, it's a great dream to look at because only growth is going to come out of this. And like I said, it may be just some old coping strategies you're holding on to, or old beliefs, or old wisdoms that were very helpful, but not where you are currently in your life. It could be anything like that because what we're talking about is this is how you feel. You feel. So, just imagine the dream is reflecting you feeling that the people around you either don't believe your about your concerns, they don't believe your perspectives, yeah, and so uh, that is probably what's there, and those people around you, uh, like I said, it's not that any particular person is probably behaving any particular way in your waking life, but it's things that are said. It could be just a look, or you say something significant and somebody just moves on like you never said anything. It could be anything like that, okay? And
Yeah,
it, and maybe unintentional, but you have some core beliefs in you where that triggers the
yeah, I can see where that would happen because I think in everybody's life it's perception and you think about it and then you think, how did I really come across or what did they really, really mean when they said that? Because your perception, I'm different, we're all different. And, it's just the perception. I think sometimes I think too much and I put too much into things that are said and I it bothers me. And this this is probably it. that I put too much thinking into things and put too much emphasis on things that really aren't there.
So you're a bit of an overthinker.
Yes. I'm
Yep.
an analytical. So I've been told that.
Well, that can lead to all of this. But here's the cool thing about it. If you actually can start figuring out what is triggering the dream. So the dream's happening because whatever it is during your waking hours, you're not really spending any time figuring it out right now. And so the dream's like, hey, here we go. Because dreams really help us heal. They just don't it's just not a doorway to things we're not dealing with. They're really there to help us heal. I mean, a lot of healing takes place when we sleep. So it's very, very important to look at it that way. But if you start to figure that out, you could actually work through some of these core beliefs that you may have that are so old you don't even really pay any attention to them, but they're there enough that in your dreaming life, you're having reoccurring dreams, and they're fairly uh they're how often are they?
Well, they were more before my vacation. I would say maybe once, twice a week. But since the vacation, I've only had one, and I've been back a week. But I've also moved from my winter place to my summer place, and I've just had so much going on that I think that I haven't had much interaction with people other than myself, my dog, I should say. And
And you're
so
not having as much time to overthink things.
correct. Yeah, I'm not having as much time to overthink, and I think I've passed this on to my children too. God forbid, but yeah, it makes a lot of sense that I internalize and I think about things that really are unimportant, but they're important to me. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. And I'll tell you something, uh, there are times, even in counseling, right? If I'm seeing somebody I'm counseling, and after they leave, and I think, did I I wonder if they felt this way that I said this. And I get really concerned, and then I put it away, right? Because I'm counseling other people and I go on. But those feelings are still with me. And I actually and the longer they go, then I start to really build those into something really big. And it actually starts tugging at some insecure thoughts, insecure feelings that I have that have just been there forever. And, it morphs into something else, and then I talk to the person or I see them. I said, I'm so sorry. I want to clarify when I said this, they never thought anything of it. There was absolutely nothing there. I turned it into something by spending way too much time uh, being concerned about it.
That really makes a lot of sense because most of your dreams you don't remember. If
Mhm.
you think about it, you really don't remember. But this one I have remembered. And there's another one that I remembered from when my son was little and we went down to the see the Navy ships. And he accidentally falls in behind the Navy ship. Why would I think that? I must it must have bothered me. I held on to him so tight that he fell in behind the Navy ship off the dock. It's like, and I for years until he was out on his own, I would have that dream, and I don't know why I had that either. But I mean, that's insignificant regarding this dream. But if I think about it, I probably was so afraid that he was such an active little boy that he was gonna fall off the pier and into the intake of the Navy ship. So it makes a lot of sense.
Well,
I'm not
and
rambling on too much. You can cut this if you want.
but I want to say about the dream about your son, especially when we're young moms, because I used to have a dream about my son, uh, and he was very active and very independent. He was an independent kid, and I had uh, I had dreams like that he would he got hit by a train on the railroad tracks. And the dream was so vivid. I remember him wearing his Time Warner. He played Little League and he was on that team. And I took the shirt and I hit it. Now that's a real scientific way to handle the problem, right? No shirt, no.
That's funny.
We have anxiety. That's about anxiety, about our ability to protect and keep our children safe. And so there may have been things where you maybe have second guessed yourself or had questions
Yeah.
about, whether you were doing a good job in that. And I think any mom that wonders that is doing a good job. But that is, I can guarantee you that that dream cut and dry, that there were times where you were being concerned about that.
Hmm.
And you don't have those dreams anymore because he's an adult.
Yes, correct.
So the dream has no purpose.
So now I'm having dreams about myself. Plus, I'm getting up there in age. I'm going to be 70, and I'm thinking, who's here to help me, really? Is there going to be, if I do need help, as after us talking, I'm thinking, if I really do need help, or even if I'm on vacation, like I was for a month by myself, there's nobody there to help me. So possibly I was pre dreaming or thinking about things to come in case something happened, but I've never been really concerned about myself. I'm like, if I have a test and they say we got to wait for the results, I don't worry about it. But this must have been on my mind that I'm going on vacation by myself, and what if something happened and everybody walked right behind me? Could that be?
That really could. That absolutely could. Absolutely.
Oh, it's been very interesting. Well, it gives me a lot to think about, and if this dream happens again, which it probably will, something will trigger it because it has been triggered, time and time again. I can't say how many times because I really didn't think about it. Same way with the dream about my son. I know it happened, but I couldn't tell you exactly how many times. Um, but it'll give me something to think about when I wake up like that. that reflux or reflex, I should say, moment that'll say, okay, now let's just wake up a little bit and see what might have happened to trigger this. And
Well,
then think it over and decide if I'm overthinking it or there's really something to be concerned about.
yeah, it is anxiety thinking. It is worry. So, and you said something that has a lot of meaning in this, is that you said, I normally don't worry about these things. If I get tests, I don't worry about the results. I don't spend a lot of time thinking about it, which may be precisely why you dream about this stuff,
Yeah,
right? Something in your brain may say you need to be thoughtful about it, right?
right.
Oh, and so that may be, and that may be why it manifested so much before your vacation,
Could
because maybe your brain's trying to say, well, I'll feel a lot better if you were more thoughtful about this. You don't have to worry, but be more thoughtful about it, have a little plan. And I love the idea that you don't spend too much time being concerned about this stuff, but that really could be, your brain really just,
subconsciously picking up on what I don't worry about,
that's right.
really worrying about it somewhere in my being, but it's not something that I um just sit there and think about. And I have a friend that, God, you think she's going to die if she's told she had to have blood work because something's wrong, and I don't do that. That's just me.
Yeah, that's a hard way to go through life, isn't it?
Yes, yes, yes. I'm more worried about other people.
So, and well, and that is um that that really makes sense with this kind of a dream, because what this dream is saying is you that be thoughtful about you. You don't have to worry. You don't have to be concerned, but be thoughtful because because uh you are very willing to just go out and live your life, and that's it. So you probably have been having some little thoughts about, I'm almost 70 and I need to be, should I check on this or should I be, should I make sure more people know how to get a hold of me while I'm on vacation or anything like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
May have had that fleeting thought, and that because then you move on and do other things in your life and think about other things, then you have a dream that, hey, pursue that. Not a bad idea. So somewhere in you, this is all about you. It's not about other people or their thoughts and beliefs, but it is
Makes perfect sense. It does. It makes perfect sense. But it'll give me more to think about when it does happen and what has triggered this response subconsciously.
yeah. And then you could probably get rid of it.
Yeah, I hope so.
Okay, no more waking up all jarred and all right.
Oh, this has been fun. I
Thank
mean,
you.
thank you so much for letting me speak and, you know, express my feelings. And it really has helped me a lot, and I appreciate it. And it's nice that you're doing this and bringing it to the attention of other people and giving them the opportunity to know why things like that are happening.
Well,
I,
I appreciate that. And I'm so glad you're able to join me. I really have missed you. And I'm sorry I keep interrupting. I have a hard time sometimes on Zoom. Uh,
you're not interrupting. I feel like I'm interrupting you.
no, I think I'm probably the culprit here.
No, no, no. It does make good sense.
So, well, I I will be very pleased if you call and say, I had the dream, help me to take a look at it.
I appreciate that. I appreciate everything you've done for me today and just being my friend.
It's
You're
safe
a
here.
wonderful person and you help a lot of people and you do a lot for others.
Well,
And it's so great.
and you do too. And that's why we're friends, right?
Right.
So I just want to thank you so much. Thank you, Jill, for being my guest today. It means an awful lot. And thank you, everybody, for watching this. And I just want to wish everyone a great day today. And I hope you have sweet dreams tonight. That
Thank you. You have sweet dreams too.
I just want to take a look at the gasping for air part of your dream. Because even though you in your mind knew you were having a stroke or you, in the dream, the gasping for air it's not inconceivable that you're not actually gasping for air while you're sleeping. So you may be, you know, just super plugged up or apnea or anything like that. If you have asthma, just to be aware of it when you wake up. Are you feeling groggy? Are you having some issues? So I just want to state that certainly.
I am on a CPAP machine. I've been using a CPAP machine for probably 3 years now. So that could be maybe something happened that I wasn't getting the correct flow into my system. So that could possibly be one of the reasons I'm gasping for air in that dream, along with everybody just not paying attention to me, having a stroke in it, gasping for air at the same time.
Well, I just think because somebody else may have that symptom, I don't want them to think that there's not that they're having trouble breathing may be actually something real. Like one time in a dream, this was the most horrifying dream because first of all, I'm a vegetarian, but I was dreaming I was eating something. It was very tropical flavor. It was really good, and I woke up and I had a stink bug in my mouth, and I didn't, I figured it out and I got rid of it, but I took at least one chomp out of it. And that was so disgusting. So,
Oh, it is.
ugh. Just like when the TV's on or anything like this, even pain can actually manifest in the dream. It doesn't really change the meaning of the dream, but it really, I want a little public service announcement here that things like that really can represent where the dreaming mind is taking things from the environment, like a show you're watching on TV or something like that.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right.
Yes.